Alright, over here, kind of like what we were working with that last part 3 of the word problems, the area of a rectangle. Ooh, I love this one. Okay, so let's think again, the area for a rectangle, area is equal to length times width. Okay, so it gives us the area. It says that the area is all of this business. If the width of the rectangle is this, what is the length? So basically it wants us to solve for the length. Well, before I go and start plugging things in, I'm going to go ahead and solve this equation right here for length, okay? So right now it's saying length times width, okay? Hopefully if I'm solving for length, how can I undo this? And hopefully y'all are all saying divide. Yes, let's divide both sides by W. That will get rid of the width over here and we'll be left with length is equal to the area divided by the width. And now I'm going to go through and plug it in. So ultimately this is just going to be a division problem, or we're going to be applying our quotient rule here. So I have the length is equal to the area, which it gives us 144, a to the 8th power, b to the 4th power, all over our width, which is 8a squared b to the 2nd. Alright, so now it's just that we're going to be applying our quotient rule. Remember, first thing we want to look at, if we're given some whole numbers over here, I want to see, does this thing reduce? Remember, you can go into your calculator. Let me get out of here. And I want to do 144 divided by 8, and then do math, enter, so it keeps it in a fraction. And look, that actually reduces to 18. So that's going to reduce to 18 over 1. 18 over 1. Now I want to work with the rest of my exponents. Remember, we're going to be doing like bases. So right here, let's look at our a's. So I have 8 up here and 2 of them on bottom. Remember that quotient rule tells us when we're dividing things by the same base, we need to subtract their exponents. So I'm going to take these 2 up here. I'm going to subtract them from your 8. We're going to be left with a to the 6th power. And then I'm going to do the same thing with these b's. I want to move these 2 up here, so we're going to end up subtracting those. We'll be left with b to the 2nd power. And that's going to be our final answer over here. Let's go look at our answer choices, and it looks like we have it right here, answer choice A. And then down here, what is the perimeter of a rectangle? Perimeter of a rectangle. So remember, hopefully you know perimeter. What's the formula? Perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So it's looking like this might be a little bit of multiplication and addition. Draw your picture if you need to. One of our side lengths is 12x squared plus 2y. And the other side is 6x squared minus 3y. Remember, the reason why it's 2 length plus 2 width is because there's 2 of these sides. There's 1, 2 of those, and then 1, 2 of those. So let's go ahead and pop this into our formula. We're going to end up with the perimeter of this guy is going to be equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And now we're just going to be distributing and then combining like terms. So let's go ahead and distribute this guy. Oops. Okay, well, y'all know what I meant over here. Not this one. So we're going to have perimeter is equal to 24x squared. And then 2 times 2y will give us 4y. Now over here, plus 2 times 6x squared is going to give me 12x squared. And then 2 times negative 3y will give us negative 6y. Now I just need to go through and combine like terms. I have some x squareds right here, some x squareds right here, and then I have some plain old Jane y's right here, and some more y's over here. So whenever I go to combine those things, I'm going to have perimeter is equal to 24 and 12 will be 36x squared. And then positive 4y and negative 6y gives me negative 2y. So just remember on these ones, remember your easy little formulas. Draw pictures if you need to. Remember that perimeter is the distance around a figure, and then your area is the distance, the stuff within your figure. Alright guys, on part 4, review. Hopefully you're looking at this thing and I hope that your first thought is systems. Either that or matrix. I know y'all love the matrix. So if you want to do your matrix, remember write out your little coefficients out here and you're welcome to chunk those into your calculator. The instructions for that are up here on the front of up here on my whiteboard. So look for those if you kind of forgot. Plug these things into your matrix if you want. Or another option that we could do, since we have some graphs in front of us, we can solve these guys for y, plug them into our calculator, and go see where they intersect. So I'm going to subtract x from over here to both sides. I'm going to be left with 5y equals a negative 1x and a negative 5. Then I need to go through, divide everything by 5. Remember right here that there is a 1, or in this case a negative 1. So this is going to translate to y equals negative 1/5 x, and then negative 5 divided by positive 5 is negative 1. And then on the second guy, kind of going to do the same thing. I'm going to subtract 4x on both sides. I'm going to be left with a negative 3y. Do not forget your negative 3y right there. Is equal to a negative 4x and a negative 20. Go through, divide everything by negative 3. Remember, we want to leave these things in their most reduced form if we can. Plug it in your calculator if you need to. This is going to give us y is equal to, and remember a negative divided by negative is a positive, 4/3 x, and then a negative divided by negative is a positive. I'm going to go ahead and keep this as a fraction. It does not reduce any further there. So now you can go into your calculator, plug them into your y equals function, and see where they intersect, or just notice that this one has a y-intercept of negative 1, and he's a negative slope. Okay, so I'm looking for one that has a negative slope, one that crosses at negative 1. Looks like they all kind of do that, and then one at positive 20/3. Okay, so let's see. This one crosses at negative 1. Alright, so moral of the story, go ahead and plug them into your y equals function of your calculator. And remember, you can go to second, trace, and do their intersection. Whenever you do that, either this way with your graphing or with your matrix, either way, you should get that they intersect right over here. So your answer choice is going to be D on that one. Alright, this next guy, what are the coordinates of the y-intercept of the line represented by the equation, blah, blah, blah. So a couple options here, remembering, okay, your y-intercept. Well, even looking at my answer choices, I'm seeing that all of my x values are 0. So if you remember, if you look up here at the front of the wall, you can find our little chart that explains this. But so you can either just plug in 0 for x, then solve for y. Or you can solve this guy for y, and we can look at the y-intercept at the end. So I'll go ahead and show you guys both. So if I plug in 0 for x, 4 times 0 plus 2y equals 10. Well, 4 times 0 is just 0, so I'm left with 2y equals 10. Divide both sides by 2. I get y equals 5. So there's an option. We get the point 0, 5. Right? Or, again, you could have solved this guy for y. This is 2y equals negative 4x plus 10. Go through, divide everything by 2. Mostly I'm concerned about this part right here. Remember, this is our y-intercept. Okay, 10 divided by 2 is 5. So either way, you should have got C on this one. And let's go ahead and knock out this last guy. Which equation represents the line that passes through these 2 points? Okay, how do I find slope given 2 points? Okay, think about it for a moment. Okay, hopefully you remember, we do that by y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So go ahead, label these things. This is x1, y1, x2, y2, and let's plug those into our formula. I'm going to end up getting, let's see, y2 is 2 minus 4 over 3 minus a negative 1. Watch out for those double negatives, you guys. What do we do with the double negative? We add them. Okay, great. So we're going to end up with negative 2 over 4, which reduces to negative 1/2. So I can go through and eliminate a couple answer choices there. Now, what do I do here? Well, I have some points. I have my slope. What do we do after that? Hopefully you're thinking point slope form. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. That's your y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. It doesn't matter which of these 2 points you choose, you just got to choose one of them. I'm going to go ahead and choose the one that has only the positive values. Let's avoid those negatives if we can. So I'll have y minus y1 is going to be 2 equals m negative 1/2 times x minus x1, which is 3. Now I just need to distribute and finish solving for this guy. So I'm going to end up with y minus 2 equals negative 1/2 x. And negative times the negative is going to give me positive 3/2. If you're unsure about that one, chunk it into your calculator. Now I just need to finish this by solving for y and adding 2 to both sides. Let's see. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides, add 2 to both sides. That's going to end up giving me y equals negative 1/2 x. Now I'm trying to do 3/2 plus 2. How do I do that? Well, get out your handy dandy calculator. Remember, you need to put your fractions in parentheses, so that's 3/2 plus 2. I want it back in a fraction, so I'm going to go math, enter, enter, and it tells me that's 7/2. So this is going to be plus 7/2. Look at my answer choices, and I see F is going to work out for me. Alright, you guys, good luck on your test. I'm wishing you all the best, and you better be acting right for this sub today. I can't wait to see you guys next week. May the odds be ever in your favor.